Welcome to the Lazy and Lock channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're a returning subscriber, as usual, thank you for your subscription and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be specifically talking about lock maintenance. Now, I know y'all read the title, and yes, it is true. Getting a retie is not maintenance, okay? And I want to explain and break it down to you all in this video. I'm actually in the maintenance phase that I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I wanted to show you all what's going on in my locks. As you all know, I did do my last retwist using crazy glue. So if you haven't saw that video, make sure you go and check that out. So I'm going to be showing y'all all a little update. At this point, I think we're on month 3. So this is month 3 of putting crazy glue on my locks as a method of a retwist. So the first thing is, let's talk about lock maintenance versus getting reties. I believe that lock maintenance is what's highly important, and it's also the reason why I was able to go so long without getting reties. So if you are new to this channel and you're watching for the first time, what started this whole channel was me just talking on camera about how I went over a year without getting a retie. And since then, I've actually went through that process about 2 more times. The last time I went was, I think it was 10 or 11, almost a year that I haven't retightened my hair. But I think I'm able to do these stretches simply because I actually practice good lock maintenance. I'm actually doing some lock maintenance now. So I'm gonna kind of go through my scalp and show you all what's going on. This is month 3 of me putting crazy glue on my locks, and my locks so far is doing good. Now, one thing I will say is, which was very much predicted, I'm starting to get flaking on my locks. These parts right here is not glue. That's really lint. So I did a lock detox, and a lot of times when you do a lock detox, the detox pulls the lint or whatever's within the lock that's embedded in the lock out. So I noticed that, yeah, you see, we got a lot going on here. I noticed that once I did the lock detox, that's when I started to see the lint actually come out of the lock. So within the lock out, because I guess it's trying to detox the actual lock. So believe it or not, these little spots that you may see right here, that is not glue. I wouldn't lie to y'all, it's not glue. It's literally just lint particles that, since my lock detox, have been trying to come out. I did create the lock detox on my own. I already have a video that I shot last year sometime, so I will make sure I give you guys that video. I promise it's coming. I got so much stuff I gotta edit for you all, but yeah, this is all just lint. I know a lot of y'all wanted to see it, so that was y'all update. Now, lock maintenance. So the first thing you want to do when you're doing lock maintenance is you actually want to go in and assess your hair, assess what's going on. Now, I recently have lost one of my edge locks, right? And now it's turned into a baby lock. So this is just something I'm assessing. I actually lost this lock because my baby has snagged on my lock. Oh, he's in that grabbing phase, and he actually, unfortunately, he pulled on it, and I'm glad he didn't pull the actual lock out from the follicle, but I can deal with that. So that's what's going on here. And then I have another baby lock somewhere, was sticking out earlier. But first thing you want to do is you want to assess your locks. You want to see what you got going on with your locks. You want to make sure that you are keeping track of your lock to base ratio, because over the years what happens is that you end up, if you're self-interlocking, right? Like if you're self-retightening, as you're interlocking, you can actually take pieces of your adjacent lock and accidentally interlock it with the lock that you're interlocking, which over time can cause damage as far as, you know, just thinning out the lock. So what I like to do is I like to go in and I just like to assess the lock. I like to assess my bases, see what it's looking like, you know, just to make sure that my locked base ratio is good. I actually deviated from interlocking, as y'all know, because I retwist now, but I'm not gonna lie, Every now and then I would put the interlocking tool to my locks just so that I can keep some cohesion. I don't always interlock my whole hair. When I interlock, like a lot of you, I probably just do like the first 3 or 4 rows to make it look fresh and make it last. I'm a big fan of that because I personally don't think that you need to interlock your whole head, especially if the back is larger than the front. I think the front you kind of have to keep on it or keep up on it a little bit more because it's thinner and because it's more tedious. But the back you can go a lot longer because it won't cause that much damage, in my opinion, right, with my lock journey. So what I just like to do is I just like to go in. I like to see, okay, if one is getting a little bit out of control, I'll probably do a rotation here and there, and that's what I'm doing now. So did I really quit interlocking? I don't think I quit interlocking, but I stopped interlocking indefinitely. All right. Another thing you want to do with lock maintenance is you actually want to go and evaluate the actual lock. I'm starting to see that I'm having some thinnings. This lock right here, I have a love-hate relationship with it because it's so girthy, like it's so thick, but then I have this going on. So I actually don't like that. So this is another part of lock maintenance. Don't be afraid to do what I'm about to do now. If this is what's going on and you need to thicken it, don't be afraid to cut your lock. I know that was so random, but this is something that we have to get comfortable doing, all right? I mean, it's not, guys, it's not as bad as it looks, because I'd rather have an established lock that's strong and sturdy than have a lock that is just hanging by a few threads because it was thinning. So to fix that, I cut the lock, right? And then I'm just going to unravel. See, this is the end of this, and I'm just gonna pick it out or comb it out in this fashion. And it might take a little while simply because this is locked hair, right? So I'm just gonna unravel it a little bit just so it could be loose, right? And I'm just gonna braid it back on. Like, I'm gonna find the thinnest part of this lock, I'm gonna find the thickest part of this lock, and I'm literally just gonna braid that bad boy back on. Seriously, like, it's really just like that for me. And while I'm braiding this to show y'all what it looks like afterwards, I mean, this is something that you might have to do. Like, if you see some straggling locks that is hanging by a thread or it looks like it's about to pop off, do not be afraid to cut your locks and reattach them. I mean, I don't know, some people have like this taboo about, oh, if a lock drops off, you can't attach it. Listen, I'm not here for those games, all right? I want my locks to grow down to my ankles. So if I have to reattach the lock again, I'm gonna reattach the lock again. And look at that, guys. Come on now. Barely could see a difference. Mind you, I mean, you could see a little braid, but I'd rather have that than the way it was looking like a minute ago. And you could definitely go back and rewind it and see. I'd rather have that. And I'm more secure with this. So that's something you also want to do. Don't be afraid to cut your lock if you need to reattach it, because we're trying to grow long, luscious, full locks, and sometimes you just need to do that, all right? I talked about the parting. I talked about reattaching. You kind of just want to assess your hydration of your locks. So if you go through and you feel that your locks is dry, don't be afraid to hydrate it. I'm not going to sit here and say what you should or shouldn't use on your locks for hydration. I would just personally say that I wouldn't just use plain water. Like, if I was going to use water as my main liquid, I would definitely mix it with some type of essential oil just to kind of change the chemistry a little bit of the water, because I noticed, for me at least, that when I use plain water on my hair to hydrate it, it kind of dried it out more. Then, you know, it just felt like my locks was a little bit more thirsty for water, or for hydration, I should say. So if you're gonna hydrate with water or hydrate your locks with water, just make sure that you kind of mix something else to change the chemical reaction, because it can just make your hair dry out. All right, I know when you first get your locks, there's this thing called hand and hair syndrome, where all you want to do is just go through your locks and just, you know, feel it. And like the first year, you might want to stop it, you might not want to be doing it too much. But when it comes to like your second year on, don't be afraid to put your hands in your hair, because you want to make sure you know what's going on in your locks. And that brings me to another lock maintenance tip, is definitely make sure you're separating your locks. Make sure you're going through and you're kind of like parting your hair. So how I like to separate my locks is I like to do it from gross to fine. Gross meaning like on a macro scale or like a larger scale, and then I go in and fine tune the actual splitting of the locks. Sometimes I do need to use a scissor, so sometimes I do go in with a scissors to fine tune where I need to split locks. But for the most part, a simple like pulling north, south, east, west, that can do the trick. And if you do that at least, maybe I would say like twice a week, depending on how often you wash, that should be enough to make sure that your locks is separated. So don't be afraid to put your hands in your hair. You just want to be careful with it the first, maybe like, I would say the first 6 months to a year, because you don't want to have your hair slip out, and it's easy for it to slip out if it's first year, okay? Not to get all technical. So I think that's all that I really have for you guys. Oh, I was supposed to talk about interlocking versus palm rolling versus using a tool, yada, yada, yada. So with that, it's pretty simple. I mean, obviously, if you're self-retying, you want to do what, you know, is more convenient for you, what your hair likes better. Me personally, between palm rolling, between interlocking with rotations, between going to a sister lock consultant, and between retwisting, I would say that I really enjoy retwisting. I enjoy retwisting because retwisting is just faster for me. It's faster. I really don't deal with the whole snagging thing anymore. Whereas when I'm interlocking with a tool, that has a higher possibility of happening. With retwisting, I feel like I have more control over my twist and keeping it in that grid square. Whereas with interlocking, no matter how much I try to prevent it, you always could have that little chance of a slippage of, you know, snagging other hairs from adjacent locks. I also do enjoy palm rolling. I palm rolled on this side of my hair way back in the day. Y'all can see that video on this channel. I since have not palm rolled, and I actually palm rolled using lace front glue, right? What's up with you and glue? Like, why can't you just use regular tools? Why you always gotta, right? Another conversation for another day, for another video. But yes, I also palm rolled this side of my hair way back in the day. Now that this side has been pretty much recovered, I haven't palm rolled. I don't think I'm gonna palm roll because, again, I like retwisting. And then back to the good old interlocking. I feel that interlocking is cool. Interlocking is all right. The biggest pro of interlocking is that you can immediately just wash your hair and you can immediately just do whatever we want with your hair, and you don't have to worry about your hair coming out of the interlock, which is cool. But I'm actually probably gonna switch back and forth. So if I go too long of a stretch to retighten, I'll probably do a retwist to kind of like level the playing field, and then after like a few months, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, then I'll go in and interlock. I don't know, but of course I'm gonna keep y'all posted on what I do. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys found this video informative. So if you are new to the channel and you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you really like this video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Safe, y'all take care of yourselves. Peace out, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye.